Happy 2024. I feel like there was no other way for me to start 2024 without titling the video, Is It Worth It in 2024? So now today we're gonna talk about a Model X Plaid. We have it on the satin black 22-inch unplugged performance UP03 wheels. We're gonna talk about all the upgrades to this car, and we also have a special guest. So I'm here with Armando. He's been on the channel before. We did a video on full self-driving in his Tesla Model Y Performance, so he traded from that up to a Model X. He was able to transfer his FSD license, which I've been arguing should always transfer with a Tesla owner. So he was able to do that. You got a crazy price on this thing. He bought the dip, folks, okay? Let's start with the changes on the exterior. I know you were talking about the headlights. We'll start there and we'll work our way back.
Yeah, so the big change with the front end is the headlights. We now have the Matrix headlights in comparison to the non-version.
Right.
That's kind of cool. Other things that you'll notice of changes exterior-wise, this no longer has the ultrasonic sensors. Now that is a problem because, and I'll show you, people know that, especially those that follow Tesla, when you walk up to the car, they have the self-presenting doors. You see how the door didn't quite open?
Yeah.
That's because there's no software update right now that actually allows the door to open fully.
To know it's okay.
Exactly, so that gets annoying. Also, when you try to exit the vehicle, like when you push the button, there's this like resistance, and I'll let you try it out.
Yeah.
It's kind of annoying. So it's almost like there's this resistance, and then it like turns off, and now you can open the door. I know people that have gone to the 2023 model, they've been complaining about it, but hopefully they fix that with a software update.
With the Tesla Vision is what they're gonna use.
Right, Tesla Vision. This new holiday update now gives you that Tesla Vision, which I'll show you guys in the dashboard. Now you have that like cool display where you can see like what's around you. That's actually gotten better because prior to the holiday update, when I was parking in my garage, the sensors would just go beep, 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 beep. It was just, it was actually very annoying. Now it actually works much better because we all know LiDAR works good. It's proven method because honestly, the cameras, I always felt like they're not gonna know. It's gotten so much better. Also, this is running hardware for cameras.
Yes.
You can see a difference. Like I can totally tell from my Model Y from the X, there's a significant difference. Now, the rear doors do have the ultrasonic sensors, and I think they did that on purpose because when you're in a parking garage,
They have, they've worked that out.
You want to make sure that, you know.
Let's also talk about, so the wheels, got them at unplugged performance.
Unplugged performance. Now,
UP03s.
I was lucky that I was able, like you said, I bought the dip.
Yeah.
I got in at a really good price. This is when the Model X was at 89,000 and change.
Yeah.
And then I used my own referral code and I was able to get it at 88,000. Now, for me, I got it's not the base model, obviously this is the Plaid, but I got the one that had no upgrades with the exception of the white seats. I've always been a fan of the white seats. To me, it just looks like a spaceship. I didn't want the upgraded wheels because Tesla wants you to pay like $5 grand for that.
Not worth,
So I went to Unplugged Performance. I got the UP03s. These are beautiful wheels. Also upgraded from a 20 to 22 inch because these are 22. They're about 12 pounds lighter than stock. You could feel the difference.
Each wheel.
Each wheel, just way better.
Sets the car off. I totally agree.
Also, you can see the red calipers now with the stock factory wheels.
I know they're hidden in there and it looks so much like it really sets the car off. I love how that looks. So your ride out to Arizona from California, good comfort? You were happy with it?
Comfort's great. I mean, you know this, the air suspension compared to the Model Y, because I came from a Model Y Performance. The Performance model, and as you guys know, because you even upgraded your suspension to the Unplug, which I did drive it. Remember you gave me a little ride?
That's right.
That was awesome.
The work that they do there is excellent, and I can't get over how good this wheel looks, so
But yeah, awesome. Going from non-air suspension to air suspension, the ride is just, even just driving here from California is like a 5-hour drive. And even like the kids were like, we're here already? It didn't feel like that. And I told them, well, yeah, it's because it feels like you're in an airplane. So.
Yeah, no, it's true. He also did a satin paint protection film over all of the paint, so that's why you're probably seeing it look a little bit different. So that looks great as well. And the title of the video is, is this still worth it in 2024? What other options, did you consider anything outside of Tesla?
So I'm excited to drive your R1T because that was an option. Now, for me, I have 3 kids.
Yeah.
You're
okay.
on number 2 now?
I'm on number 2 coming, yeah, yeah.
The Model X has always been on my radar.
Yeah.
But when I was pricing them out, the first thing that I did was, okay, I'm doing the long range.
Yeah.
And then I did this 6-seat configuration. That 6-seat configuration bumps up the price significantly.
Yeah.
For me, I told myself I would hate it that I didn't pony up and pay the $5,000 to get the Plaid model, which is way faster.
Yes.
It's got the upgraded brakes.
Yep.
I mean, faster. I mean, I'm a like to go fast.
Yes, yeah. It was funny on the way here. Well, I was in the fast lane, okay? And I'm going like 85 and everyone's going 85. Then I see some guy coming up behind me with a Corvette next to him. I'm like, what? I'm like, oh, that's Armando. He didn't even know it was me and just went, it was hilarious. So
I like to go fast.
So he's not kidding.
But yeah, I mean, the price difference between long range and the Plaid was only a couple thousand.
Yeah.
So to me, it just was a no-brainer.
Yeah, you're going from, this 0 to 60 is 2.6, I think, or
2.5.
2.5, and then the long range is 3.8. So it's a significant, and you can talk about the numbers until you experience that acceleration. I mean, it's insane that this does that. So we'll kind of walk around. We'll go to the inside of the car, check it out. But I agree, it's a very expensive car. I'm not dismissing that.
No.
But what you get in terms of the charging network, the ride quality, heated, cooled seats, there's aftermarket support because it's a Tesla. There's enough people that buy them where there's aftermarket. And still, these doors, I mean, this is...
Yeah, I mean, these doors, the Falcon Wing doors, are known already. I mean, it's not like something new. Yeah, let's just go inside.
Yeah, let's just get in.
So this is a great example. My daughter just goes to the back. Yeah. And now, everything's, it's great. So, and obviously with the new Model X, we get the rear display, which is great for movies and stuff.
And even back here, like, I'm 6 feet tall. You can have stuff in the trunk. Like, I could be on a long road trip and sit like this because I can lay my feet out.
Right.
As opposed to the 3 people being jammed up here, that that could be a problem. Alcantara roof liner, that's beautiful. You have an air vent in the back. There's 2 air vents to point on yourself, so that's nice. And the one thing I've always complained about in Teslas is the fact that,
sit over here.
Yeah, get in the baby seat, is like the heat coming in the car. You having a Model Y, you know what I'm talking about. So the fact that this is actually blocked out and the rear passenger has this big beam here to be protected from the sun is nice. So, and these seats are comfortable.
Yeah, and you got 2 cup holders with USB-Cs back here.
Oh, wow.
So
I didn't even notice that. Yeah, I mean, it really is an impressive car. And then the safety on top of that, like as a parent, like I never thought about that before having kids. Now, like the Cybertruck, when I saw that, I was like, this is going to be the safest thing ever. That's a big deal as well. So you get the performance, you have the software updates, you have the charging.
The charging network is huge.
Oh.
Even driving over here, I'm going to arrive safely.
Yep.
There's a thing where I've been in situations where, you know what, I'm just gonna try these other networks, right? Because I'm at a mall, and they don't work. Yeah. It's like, oh, out of order, this. And like you have a Rivian, you have to now rely on another person's network. Like, even driving over here, it was telling me, because I stopped at Quartzsite.
Quartzsite, that massive one?
Yeah, it's got 28 superchargers, I believe. Don't quote me on this, but it's got a lot.
Did you go to the one that was covered with solar?
No, I went to the one.
It's just wide open and like
next to Carl's Jr. Yes.
So there's one. Do this next time. Instead of coming off the exit and going left at that one, go right. There's 80 stalls with solar.
Oh,
it's not even on. There's 120 there.
Wow. So the funny thing is, the one next to Carl's Jr., even though I know there's like 28 of them, it was telling me that there were 6 available. That's the nice thing about being part of the supercharger network is it lets you know ahead of time, oh, there's plenty of stalls next to me. You go to these other places, you don't know what you're gonna get.
I've always said, like, you can be very stupid, and you can supercharge a Tesla. Because all you do is, like, even gas, you have to get, do I get 91? Do I get 87? I don't know. Some people put diesel in their car. They don't know. So, like, the fact that...
get out of there.
I mean, it's just all organic electricity that you can put in your Tesla. Yeah, and it's very simple, straightforward. Your credit card's hooked up to it. And like what he's talking about, I see tons of comments of people saying, oh, you have to drive a different way to get to your destination. The supercharger network has become so dense that that's really not... I've never had that happen. Have you ever had to reroute? That's probably an issue you're not going to have. The other thing is, let's say you're going to a campsite like a KOA or something.
Yeah.
You can plug into a NEMA 1450 plug and be fully charged by the morning if you're gonna campsite there. So you could just go to those all across the country. You pay $9 and you charge as much you want.
Well, here's the cool thing too about just EVs in general. The Airbnb we're staying has a charger.
Yeah.
So before I came here, I made sure it was at 100 because I want you to experience a full enchilada, you know?
Yeah,
I want you to feel that. So,
Yeah.
but you know, that's the nice thing. Like what other, like you can't do that with a gas vehicle. You can't just show up to an Airbnb and expect to have a gas pump their way.
Yeah, on road trips and things, it's not, a gas car will win the race.
Right.
Like if you're going long distance, it's gonna win the race. But what I've also realized is a lot of my road trips, I need to eat lunch. I have a baby, diaper change. These end up being things you're like, oh, okay, I know I'm gonna be stopped at Quartzsite. I know there's a nice gas station there. I know like what I can do. You begin to plan it in your head, and it's not that big of a deal.
No,
and on the daily basis, it's better because there is no maintenance. You fill up to your 80% or whatever at your house and you're done.
And also too, now that we're charging at faster speeds, like a lot of the chargers are now 250 kilowatts. Like we went to Carl's Jr., an example. We were hungry, we ate. By the time we were done eating, the car was at 90%.
I know.
And it was like, it was no inconvenience to us at all.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it is great. All right, we've kind of walked around the exterior and chatted it up. Let's go on a test drive, see what happens.
Let's do it.
All right, so we just jumped in here and Armando reminded me that I'm not in my Model Y. It's very pedestrian. So foot on the brake and you can see where it says tap to activate right there. There's no gear, there's no stocks on this, okay? So if I hit the brake, then you see it says press to drive. It's highlighting the gas pedal or electric pedal, whatever you call it. So that's very intuitive. I was thinking when I saw this had no stocks, I had to either guess if it was in gear. So that's really nice on the display here. It shows you.
And if we were reversed, meaning that if we were facing forward, it would know that you would have to back out based on the cameras and what's around you. So
yeah, so that can actually be really convenient. How do you feel about when you put your foot on the brake also, doesn't the door close fully?
It does, yeah.
Yeah, so that worried me one night because my dog was like down here and I put my foot on the brake and it like it didn't hit him, but it shut the door and I was like, have you ever had any worry about that? Or
actually, it's funny you bring that up because it has happened to me where I don't want to close the door and I hit the brake because I'm testing something and then it just like closes on you and then it's like, come on. I don't believe there's a way to turn that off. It is nice, and if I had to have it, you know, on or off, I would always keep it on. I like it.
I do like
it, yeah.
Yeah, that was just something like, and these are good to know, like, because you own the car, I only spent a certain amount of time with it.
I saw you going for the
God, I was just doing it again.
I saw you go.
So how do I put it in reverse right now?
Just swipe down.
There we go. Okay, yeah. All right, so even though we're on 22-inch wheels, can certainly feel that the ride isn't quite as good as if we were on the 20s, 100%, for sure.
Yeah.
But it's still eating up these bumps. I think I see what you mean about being louder too.
Well, hold on. I am in sport mode. This is the nice thing. So I can switch this to comfort.
Yeah, there we go.
And then I can even raise the suspension to medium. Now, when you go to medium, it gets way softer. Like, I mean, like we can go over bumps and you won't even feel it. Now, I don't recommend you smash right now because we're not in the optimal performance. I mean, in terms of like, you know, we want to be low to the ground, suspension tighter. But like if you're just cruising like you are right now, the comfort regular suspension height is like, this is where if you have your kid, your wife's pregnant, you want to make sure you keep it chill, you know?
Yeah, I guess I'm hitting a turn signal right now. There's no turn signal over there. I will say, like, as much as I would argue, hey, like, just leave shift stocks on the car, I can see how it is really nice to just have a clean steering wheel here.
Right.
This is kind of nice. And once you get used to it and it becomes intuitive, you'll be okay. It's just at first, it takes some getting used to.
This is a nice road here. We'll go back to sport so that we can...
Yeah, I guess back so we can precondition for a launch.
Yeah.
But you're right, that changed it a lot.
And that's a nice thing coming from a performance Model Y is the suspension difference is huge. Like it's night and day. Yes. Like you actually feel like, okay, I bought a luxury car, you know?
Yes. It's totally different. The other thing I'll say is, and you'll have to let me know what you think when we drive the Rivian.
Yeah.
On the throttle, off the throttle, and then just coasting to a stop with regenerative braking in a Tesla. I've never driven anything else that is that smooth that's an electric car.
You're saying on the Rivian?
No, on the Tesla.
Gotcha.
The Tesla, it's like untouchable how good they have the drivetrain tuned.
Got it.
It's really impressive.
Yeah, you can almost like calculate exactly when.
Yeah, you get good at it. Like you'll come to a stop and you can glide right there and you go boom right on the lines. Yep. So this has an horn here? No.
It doesn't, and that annoys me. You have to push the button. You know, I don't mind. You get used to not having any stalks. Yeah. But the horn situation is a bummer because sometimes you could feel it, man. Like.
Yeah. That's just like I was maybe at 40%.
Yeah. I mean, like. Oh, I know. Yeah. I will tell you, when you do smash it, just know these brakes are not that good, and that's one of the upgrades I do plan to do is get the unplugged performance grid. This is actually, I feel like the car is somewhat unsafe
with the brakes.
With these brakes, it's actually borderline scary because you'll experience it, and that's why I said let's do it in Mexico.
Right,
we're in Mexico. Yeah. So it's like we're like right now, go for it. Just hit it hard. Just smash it. Yeah. See how the brakes? They don't quite stop. You know what I mean?
They don't. Yeah, they don't quite.
Also, I could tell that the car's not warm enough because normally you'd feel the. You know?
I didn't like jam the pedal, so if I did, All right, so we got 10 minutes before where it's another thing, the software, it's going into drag strip mode. So we've got 10 minutes until the battery's at optimal temperature. That way we're able to get maximum performance.
But we could do a launch here. I mean, we're at a stop sign.
Yeah.
Actually, there's nobody behind, so if you want to just kind of stop and then.
This car's gonna be like, what?
Yeah.
They're not in the turn lane, are they?
And then smash it. Go for it. Yeah, so there's a misconception, I feel, which is somewhat valid, but not so true with the Plaid models, is, electric vehicles lose power after you hit 80.
Yeah, no.
That's actually not the case with the Plaid models. You can go from 80 to, 120, 140, and it just pulls and pulls,
Yeah, part of that is with the tri-motor that they've developed. They fixed that issue because you're right. In the Model 3 performance is like that. It dies off after. Right. They're working apparently on some sort of tri-motor configuration for the Model 3 and Y now for the. Right. And I think Tesla also needs to standardize. Like how there's BMW M, Mercedes AMG. Plaid should be that. So the Plaid should be the performance. They should 100%. Just, as opposed, like I know car manufacturers, they had the P100D and then they had the performance. Now they should be like, okay, we got Plaid. Right. This makes sense and stick with that. That would be cool.
And it should look different too.
Yes.
I'm not a fan that, you almost can distinguish this from, most people don't even know. That's the thing.
The only thing I could pick out would be the brakes. Yeah. If you had the 20-inch wheels.
So you asked me earlier, what are the differences? Yeah. That's actually a difference. They used to be black, the calipers, even on the Plaid models.
Yes.
Oh, they changed it now to red. That's another change. And for those that are not familiar, because I figured not everybody's going to be familiar with the differences, the Plaid Model X has carbon fiber interior. Yes. For those that don't know.
Yes, so, that's another thing. And you can only get carbon fiber on the Model S and X if it's a Plaid.
Correct.
And I think that should be, if anyone from Tesla is listening, if you could offer that as an option, people will option that. Yeah. And they will pay good money for it because it looks incredible. It's not, piano black or anything. The Model S, to me, it feels like an older person's gonna drive it just because of the wood options. Right. Like, just give me carbon fiber. Yep. Let me feel young. Again, coming back to the title of this video, is this still worth it in 2024? In my opinion, for an SUV this size, this is the standard. It's been out since, 2016 or 17, the Model X? So they've had all these years to develop this battery technology, the suspension, work out kinks in the car. Yes, it's expensive, but you're buying something that actually has some history to it. The technology continues to get better with the infotainment. There will be features in 1 year on this car that you do not have right now. You were talking about backing up into your garage, the sensors and the vision, how that's gotten better for you. They've increased the field of view with the rear camera. Right. You know technology and cameras like farther than I do.
So you'll probably hear it here first. When I back up into my garage is very tight. So one thing that I found out, because I have a tool chest in the rear of my garage, is as I back up, I have to, as soon as the camera touches the rear edge of the tool chest, I have to stop. Yeah. With the holiday update, I don't know how Tesla did this, but the field of view is much wider because once I updated the car, I backed up, I noticed this. Okay, I am right at the edge of the tool chest. Now my tool chest, you can't move it. It's not like somebody accidentally moved it forward because it's right butted up right against the wall. I got out of my vehicle and I noticed that my car's sticking out where the door is gonna hit it. I'm like, wait, I know I backed it up. So I went back in my car and I see it. I had to back up like this much more. So I don't know how Tesla did it, but the field of view has increased quite a bit. Don't know how that was possible.
Yeah.
Because that's hardware.
Yeah, exactly. I know like people say, I've seen them say, oh, you're a fanboy, typical Tesla fanboy. I've been making automotive YouTube videos since 2011. I've owned Civic Si, my Focus ST, my M2, Macan, Tesla. I just enjoy cars. And in terms of electric cars, they're doing it the best. Right. As far as the overall package goes, I know they have their faults, and the ride quality maybe isn't what it should be in the Model Y and the 3, and we can go into all the little details. They're excellent cars. Yeah. You can confidently go across the country in an electric vehicle.
Yes.
And if Tesla didn't do that, there wouldn't be this massive push for electric cars. And I've always said, like, I think we shouldn't be forced into electric cars. We should want to buy them.
Agreed there.
Visibility out of the back. What % tint do you have? Do you know?
It's pretty dark.
Yeah, it's pretty, because I mean, we're in broad daylight here and I'm having trouble seeing out the back.
Yeah. The cool thing is, and for those that don't know, is you do have this.
That's true.
Not that you would want to drive with this
that,
on all the time, but I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
No, yeah, you have that option, so that's good to know.
I mean, if you're towing a trailer, this could be an option where you could have.
Yeah, the Rivian has a camera on it for specifically for towing a trailer, so that's useful.
The other misconception too that I hear a lot is, especially a vehicle like this.
Yeah.
Oh, electric vehicles are so heavy. Mm-hmm. If you look at the curb weight of this compared to like a Tahoe, which I consider somewhat comparable. I mean, a Tahoe's got a lot of room.
Even a Porsche Cayenne. Right.
Those vehicles will actually be heavier than this. And this has the Falcon Wing doors that have a lot of mechanisms and electronics and stuff that are going to make it heavier.
You're exactly right about that. Because I've even looked, like my Macan weighed 63 pounds less than my Model Y.
Right. Right.
So, and people are like, oh, the tires wear out quick. I'm like, that's true because it's heavy,
right? But
also, like, so do the other cars. Yeah, it's kind of. I think this is right around 5,000 pounds.
Correct.
Yeah, that's not that heavy.
No,
I'll put a couple weights up on the screen for like a Durango, a Porsche Cayenne. That way you can kind of see where this falls in. But it's all very similar, which surprises a lot of people.
And they're not going to be running 9-second quarter miles.
No.
That's the other thing too,
Yeah.
So
and the efficiently, like, this would be the equivalent of one of those getting like 90 miles per gallon.
Right.
Just does not exist.
Hold on the brake, and then it'll give you a countdown, and then smash on the accelerator, and then it'll give you a countdown. Hold on, and then let go whenever you're ready.
Okay, ready? But yeah, when you get on the brake,
the brakes are not.
I will say it probably can't handle too many of those.
Right.
You do one, brakes can handle it.
Right. But yeah, you're right.
You do a couple in a row, that's really going to heat them up. For normal driving, you should be okay, but yeah.
Feels like the car's almost lifting up, right? One thing I did notice in comparison to my Y is I felt that my Y was very finicky with autopilot or full self-driving, because I do have full self-driving, where I had to keep touching the steering wheel every so often. I feel like you can go several minutes without actually tapping the steering wheel and it bugging you, which is nice.
So this is full self-driving. And the other thing with full self-driving is, like, there's all of these articles, it's like dangerous full self-driving.
Yeah.
The car does not say don't pay attention.
Right.
You have to be fully present when you're doing this. That's why I see, like, people are like, oh, I got in another accident. It's like, the driver's at fault. So you feel that the hardware in this car handles full self-driving better than your...
It does, and I'm impressed, and I feel that a lot of it has to do with those newer cameras.
Yeah.
Also, the software has gotten so much better. Also, with the new update, which there's no car here, but if there was, you would see a red line right here. That's awesome, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, just, I mean, things like that they can handle with software. It's unlike anything I've ever owned, because it's like sometimes you buy the 2018 model and the 19 model had that feature. You're like, I can't.
Yeah. Apple Play.
Yeah. We'll never have that.
No.
Tim Apple.
So probably just gonna end up stopping there.
Yeah.
So
that's fine. Gets us back onto where we were.
But FSD is nice.
It is.
I don't think you've even tapped the steering wheel once. Yeah. See, that's what I mean. It's not as finicky compared to the Y. I felt with the Y, you always had to tell it like, I'm here, like wake up, you know. And it's like with this, it's almost like they've laid, or they're more chill about it.
Yeah.
So,
and like as someone, you bought FSD,
right?
You were able to transfer it, which is, I think that's how it should be. What value did you see in FSD? You're like, I need to have that.
I mean, I guess it was more on the promise that it was going to eventually really full self-drive, which it's gotten much better. So I was able to buy the dip, but also transfer my full self-driving from the Performance Y to the Plaid.
Yes.
So that was like a no-brainer, especially because I bought the FSD at a much lower price. Yeah. Right now it's what, 12 grand?
Oh, right, you bought it at 7, didn't you?
It was at 8.
7 or 8. Okay, so that's a much better price than I've heard.
So I feel like I was able to add that value to this vehicle, even though FSD doesn't have. So here's a great thing. Like the sun's hitting us, right?
Yeah.
Or it's hitting me quite a bit. Yeah. But if I wanted to, so check this out. This is what I would have to do. This is annoying. Yeah. Like I'd have to do this. Like.
Yeah, and it's not attached. Or, yeah, that's kind of weird.
It is one of those things that annoys me about this car.
Yeah, so that's definitely a functionality thing that could be better.
There's not much. Another thing that annoys me. Yeah. There's no horn.
Yeah, no horn here is annoying.
You have to push, and let's be honest, you're not going to remember the horns right there. That's not, especially if somebody cuts you off, or you're like, oh my gosh, you're like, right. Or if somebody's going to run over, your vehicle. Like a big semi-truck, your instinct is, we've been trained to do this. Yes. You're not going to be like, hold on. And that's a button I rarely have.
And it's not even that. I guess it's not bad, but it's just that doesn't impress me. Like a shift stock impresses me. Not being able to use that is far. Like, okay, I can see that. I don't know what the value is of the no horn.
Also, if you're turning and somebody is going to run you off the road and you're turning, where is the position of the horn? Yeah. Now it's over here. Look, are you going to remember? You're going to do. It's silly. So that's another annoyance, and that can't be fixed.
No.
As far as I know, unless they come up with
you'd have to get like a new wheel that has it'd have to be a totally new wheel. So we've driven the Model X. We're going to jump out of this. We're going to get in the Rivian. Yes. We're going to see what Armando thinks about that, because I'm curious. This is, again, no bias here. We're just going to drive the car and tell you what it is, all right? Now, if you want to see Armando drive my Rivian R1T, click the video in the middle of your screen there. You can see his thoughts on that. That will be helpful if you're cross-shopping between a Tesla Model X and a Rivian.